It's a fantastic Thursday morning right here in Edo State, Nigeria. Good morning. Welcome on board. This morning on ITV. I am Anuluwakbo Stevens. And of course, I have my colleague here with me right here on this table, Harry Agboje. Good morning. How are you?
Beautiful morning to you, Anu. How are you?
I am great. I'm blessed. And it's interesting to see how we're twinning this morning, right? So immediately you walked into the studio, I said, did you spy on my wardrobe?
Well, I was going to ask you if you planned it out because I can't remember, having this plan, but I guess it's a good one. And you look gorgeous in it.
Thank you so much. Yellow is the color. Anyway, well, hopefully we have our colleagues join this morning in the Lagos and Abuja studios. So many things to talk about today, from stories trending on the street of social media down to politics to the Senate plenary. There's a lot of things going on at this point. And I hear we have Mercy on board. Good morning, Mercy. How are you?
Beautiful morning to you, Anu. Good morning, Harry. Trust you guys are doing good.
Absolutely, we are, and trust you are as well. Now, a couple of days ago, we saw what transpired in Oyo State, and that has actually shaped the conversation going on the front pages of the newspaper and across national media outlets. And also the issue with the fake agency, that's also another major conversation currently in the country. As we did get to see that the 44 pupils and teachers rescued from kidnappers' den after spending 56 days in captivity have started reuniting with their families following their discharge from Ladoke Akintola University of Technology Teaching Hospital in Ogbomoso, now ending about 2 months of anxiety for relatives who had feared they might never see their loved ones again. Meanwhile, yesterday, something interesting happened at the Senate, as the Senate yesterday approved 50 million naira donation to the families of 5 Nigerians who lost their lives during the rescue operation that freed school children abducted in Oyo State after 56 days in captivity. The resolution followed a proposal by the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, during plenary. Senators unanimously endorsed the donation, with each of the 5 bereaved families saying 50 million naira is too small to give to them. Harry, on the front pages, or on social media street, I saw a situation where someone in Oyo State, one of the politicians, was gifting the popular principal of the school a car, and it got a lot of persons talking. Should that be the case currently? Is this what you think should be happening to persons who have spent 56 days in captivity?
Well, it appears to me that, in this modern era, a lot of us are engrossed in the cloud culture. Okay, so we're more interested in chasing cloud than actually doing the needful. For people who have been in captivity for such a long time, I pretty much think that this is not, this shouldn't be a priority for them. Okay, the first thing we should be considering is, putting them through a program of rehabilitation, because it's really no news that they've been through a whole lot, and one way to help them get over what they've been through, because the trauma is one thing that you really can't erase from their minds, so easily. So the first thing they should be considering right now is, rehabilitating them, and of course helping them get over the trauma of the experience that they went through, in captivity. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be given some sort of, should I say,
financial compensation
to cushion, the effect of the hardship that they've been through. But I think that should come much later, and there are better ways to even make life easier for them. How about establishing them? How about helping them find their feet? How about making life easier for them? Okay, for me, this shouldn't really be a priority. Okay, but it is still a laudable one. Okay, let's not just chalk it all up as a bad initiative, but I feel like it could be much better than this.
Absolutely. I thought you were even going to say it is what it is. Now, over to you, Marcelina. What do you think, or what do you make out of all of the drama, the shenanigans, to put it that way, going on currently with the freed Oyo pupils and teachers, especially with the principal? Do you think this is what they need at this point? Of course, Nigerians are aware that they spent 48 hours receiving a medical care attention before they were released into the public, but aside financial compensation, aside all of the talks and all of the, drama we've been seeing playing out, what do you think they really do need at this point? Some persons even call it seems we're having a reality TV show, especially with the principal of the school.
Okay, at first, I would say these people need to be rehabilitated first of all, so.
Okay, now we have Charity Tanko on board as well. Good morning, Charity. Before I get to your view on what is going on the table at this point, let's also talk about the situation regarding the state police, as it seems it's taking a different dimension entirely. Now, the federal government has expanded the circumstances under which it can intervene in the operation of state police forces in the executive bill on state policing transmitted to the National Assembly by President Bola Tinubu. The House of Representatives had earlier passed its own state police bill during the ongoing constitutional amendment exercise.
From the executive bill, that was the initial stage, and then after going back, they sat down and they decided that, okay, let's go by the executive bill and do things according to what the executive bill said. And the executive bill is talking about the state police, and also it says there have been that mechanisms have been put in place to ensure that governors do not take advantage of the state police, because that has been the major fear from Nigerians and other people, that state governments are going to take advantage of it. They are going to monopolize it and use it for as their political weapon against opponents. But that fear had been allayed by the executive, also by the Senate, because I remember the Senate Majority Leader Okwemi Bamidele saying that the National Assembly will ensure that it put security outfits in some of the states. He said some governors are yet to pay. And he said that state governors do not have the financial capacity to fund any state police. But be that as it may, that is the Abomoru while speaking with journalists. As far as the Senate is concerned, it has passed the bill, and the bill has passed the bill into third reading. What is left is for the House and the Senate and the House to the concurrence committee to come together. For what it's worth, some of the things they are saying are actually logical, because we have state governors who up till today cannot even pay.
But one major concern for all of Nigerians is the impact that this bill will have on Nigerians, especially with the security architecture in the country. Do you think this actually nips everything in the bud and just, solve all of our security problems in the country? Now, yesterday I listened to a sister station where a vocal social media journalist, if I'm to put it that way, or activist, was saying that in a country where soldiers are being paid less than or just $50 or, not even more than 100,000 naira. I don't know if it has been increased, that observation. Now, what do you expect the security situation to be in the country if we're having persons paid peanuts to serve or to protect the country? Now, let's even use our brother in South Africa, of whom they're being paid over 2 million naira for their security, operative, and how it's being done there, and compare it down here in Nigeria. Do you think this state policing would just solve all of our problems and make it go away?
Well, a popular adage says that a hungry man is an angry man, okay? Sure. And one of the things that I know to work very well is motivation. Well, I think that's something that's lacking in this part of the world, okay? People are not motivated to do the needful. And we see that play out in the police, okay? The police are underfunded. They are not paid well enough. You do not expect the citizens. Now, that same thing applies to the army.
Right.
Now, I do not have a problem with the state police thing, okay? But I feel like we should first strengthen the current, the existing architecture, okay? Once that is put in place, then the state police bill, if it comes to light, is going to be an extension of what we already have. If we don't get it right with the existing structures, what is the guarantee that a state police bill, if it eventually sees the light of day, is going to live up to expectation, especially as regards securing the lives and property of the average Nigerian? So as far as I'm concerned, it is a welcome development, but I feel like the needful has to be done. okay, we have to put lay heavy emphasis on the need to empower and to make life much easier because it's a whole lot putting your life out there, just to protect the citizens. Okay, so if I am going to do that, for instance, the least I expect is for my life to be much better and easier. So yeah.
Now, when you said if you're going to do that, I just remembered when we had the conversation regarding journalists being embedded in the military operation, and when we see Harry, we see Messalina and Charity trying to, well, definitely not me, right there watching and seeing how everything plays out. But thumbs up to the Senate, thumbs up to President Bola Tinubu administration. This is one of the initiative and one of the policies that's going to, be right there and being clinched to this administration to say that yes, it was during this administration that we had the state policing bill passed into law, if it would eventually see the light of the day. So many things to talk about on the show, but we really should move back to Lagos and get information from where we'll be getting our messages and today. Mercy.
It is one of peace and lightheartedness following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe leaves, a symbol of good luck and joy. It is the most popular of all that heralds the dawn of a Benin New Year, new vow, newness of life and freshness of life, and a new hope for the future. In the evening, the Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe Society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck, blessings, peace, and prosperity. Each of the senior members of the Ihogbe proceeds to give the sacred leaves directly to the Oba of Benin, and others put theirs at his feet.
Welcome back to the show. If you're just joining, you're into This Morning on ITV. Now we move straight to the national dailies this morning. Let's see what's on the front pages of the newspaper today. We have the New Telegraph newspaper. We also have Nigerian Tribune. We have the Guardian newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, as well as the Daily Trust. Well, we'll kickstart this morning with the New Telegraph newspaper. Interestingly, it's leading with state police. It says governors won't solely appoint police commissioners. Who is speaking? Tajuddin Abbas says law. Subwriters also say Bamidele pushes for first-line change. Funding warns against abuse, says financial autonomy key to insulating state police from interference. On page 2, 3, and 29 of the New Telegraph newspaper, we have details of that story. Away from that, federal government, we have enhanced our passport verification platform, gained ICAO trust. Now, for a lot of Nigerians, one of the most interesting working minister, I think aside the minister of the FCT, who does his things in a unique way, is Tunji, the minister of, with regards how fast you can get your passport right here in Nigeria, especially for persons, Nigerians in the diaspora. It's now a swift and amazing ride. First, thumbs up to Tunji Ojo. Away from that, federal government moves to end exam malpractice, backs nationwide CBT for NECO. On page 5 and 6, details of that story. Alleged corruption, court admits ex-CCT chair to 100 million naira bail. Details of that story you get today on the New Telegraph. UNGA Tinubu to speak on reforms, others in West Africa. Ambassador Ibrahim has that on page 7. 4. Midnight social media curfew proposed for UK teens aged 16-17. Ododo mobilizes security forces as gunmen invades SSCE Center, abduct principal students. Senate gives NNPCL auditors 1 week to explain 210 trillion naira unreconciled figures on page 2 and 6. And finally, it says heavy chili pepper consumption may raise cancer risk, according to a study this morning on the front page of the New Telegraph newspaper on page 30. Well, that's all we have, Harry.
Yeah, let's shift our attention to the next paper, which is the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. The Nigerian Tribune is actually leading with this screamer that says, go after other bandits, terrorists nationwide. Senate tells federal government. Go after other bandits, terrorists nationwide. Senate tells federal government. And the writer there says, cautions Makinde to stop trivializing government's efforts. Cautions Makinde to stop trivializing government's efforts. Another writer there says, Oyo Assembly backs governor on call for UN probe. Oyo Assembly backs governor on call for UN probe. And the last rider to that one says, Orire Hospital discharges 25 out of 39 on admission. Now you can find all of that on page 3 and 4 of the Tribune newspaper. Now let's look above the masthead. And the first story there says, ADC demands Matthew Bala's prosecution over alleged forgery of INEC document. And that's on page 24 of the Nigerian Tribune. And next to that, lawyers, politicians differ on appeal court ruling on implications of ADC primaries. And that's on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. And police arrest fake PFIPC DG at DME in Osun. And that's on page 1 of the Nigerian Tribune. Well, still on the Nigerian Tribune, reps drop own state police bill, considers Tinubu's proposal, just like we were discussing much earlier on the show. And then, finally, on the Nigerian Tribune this morning, digital literacy drive gains momentum as Odus Investment Foundation graduates cohort 1 trainee, and that's on page 11 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Absolutely. Well, we wrap up with the Guardian newspaper this morning, leading with nominations of candidates. It says, row over INEC's deadline, compliance as parties seek further extension on page 6. Away from that, in business news, headline inflation stagnant at 15.9% as rising energy prices trigger fresh concern on page 3. National Assembly proposes fiscal autonomy for state police on page 3 as well. Well, still on page 3, Senate gives NNPCL auditors 1 week to explain 210 trillion naira reconciled figures. Away from that, again, Tinubu defends administration's economic reforms on page 7. Well, some Nigerians will say, Baba, don't even want to hear. Don't tell me anything. I know I'm doing the right work. All you have to say, that's your business there. Tinubu standing on the mandates. Away from that, court orders final for feature of 40 properties linked to Miami on page 4. Senate rejects PFIPC probe as Atiku swamps federal government over 6.44 billion naira World Cup budget. That's a whole lot of money. Well, federal government evacuates another batch from South Africa, brings count to 1,490 Nigerians so far that have been evacuated from South Africa back to your sweet homeland, because there is no place like home here in Nigeria. Come and face everything that we'll be facing in the country right here. Well, shout out to the federal government as well, doing amazing work as regards that on page 4. And finally, it says Education Ministry, NBS, begin fresh out-of-school children survey on page 30. And finally, we talked about it earlier on the show, Orire abduction, Senate donate 50 million naira to families of slain teachers, security personnel on page 5. Well, that's all time would permit us talk about this morning on the newspaper review segment. Do well to pick up a copy of any of the national dailies to stay abreast with what is going on currently in the country. Now, we'll move away from that and we move ahead to our first discourse. Today on the show, we're turning our attention to talk about the state of electricity in Edo State. In recent times, there have been cry about estimated billing, and we're going to, tilt our attention towards estimated billing and see how it has been so far. And interestingly, we'll have the Honorable Commissioner of Power Edo State right here to do justice to that, Barrister Paul Hussein, to talk more on this and a whole lot more. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Situated in the majestic city of Benin, the home
Benin Cultural Dance, a unique dance and quality dance steps of the Benin people. This dance is a vibrant mix of traditions, arts and beliefs, deeply rooted in the country's diverse ethnic groups and their rich history. The dance has artistic expressions depicting the people's history. Benin people have been famous for bronze and brass work, some of which is said to date back from the 13th century, especially ivory and wood carving. In Benin, the people dance to show respect, honor, dignity, which they honor. They dance to show royalty, as natives are seen in their numbers around their body depicting the symbol of kingship.
The threat of global warming is real. You have seen the destruction of lives and property as a result of incessant flooding. Make the environment a conducive place for all to live in. Stop polluting the environment. Protect the environment today. This message is brought to you courtesy Independent Television and Radio.
Some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Emobo Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
What does one do with a bunch of memories? Laugh about them, cry over them, or capture them? I know what I'll do with such memories.
Welcome back. Ending estimated billing in Edo. Billing has been a source of frustration for electricity consumers in Edo State, with many questioning its fairness, transparency, and impact on households and businesses. Now, efforts to end the practice are gaining momentum, promising a new era of accountability through improved metering and more accurate billing. But what will this transition mean for consumers, electricity distribution companies, and the state power sector? Now join us as we examine the plans, the challenges, and expected benefits.
Initiative in partnership with the Edo State government, New Hampshire company, the front runners of this is an initiative is under the MAP program. The meters in this program are purchased, but they're readily available and easily very accessible. You fill a form and then you get it. Their offices at the Besama. That was one. After a couple of months, we understudied the meters that they were supplying, and we had full oversight, and we graciously approved that the establishment of the Edo Mass Metering Assembly, which will be commissioned in the fourth quarter of this year.
All right.
However, let me pause at that. Let's have a general overview about these issues. Committee that dabbles into the issues, because various citizens from different sectors, from the business, from the market women, from private citizens, residential homes, they've had these issues, and they said they go to the BEDC doesn't answer to them. And so we set up a joint committee between us and BEDC. Every single complaint that has come to us. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of areas in my office where people come back and they've resolved the BEDC and that they are up on board. Another very key part of this in the estimated billing is the district program, the federal government program, district program that is ongoing with the free meters. From it, we have oversight over BEDC in respect of the distribution of these meters. Now, my ministry does not distribute. The free meters are handed over to the DISCOs, and the DISCOs are the one who are in charge that deploy these meters to all citizens across Edo State. This we have been able to achieve, and it is to these variable 18 local governments we have overseen, and the program is still ongoing as we speak.
Okay, I'd love to take you back to what you said with regards to complaint you've gotten from consumers over time regarding the estimated billing, and also the part where you talked about the distribution of the free meters, which you did say it's not in your purview to handle. But what are some of those complaints, and how have they been addressed so far?
Yes, you know, the issue of estimated billing, when a citizen has an issue, they write directly to our office if they have not written to BEDC. We are in collaboration with BEDC. We have a review of this and draw the attention to them. We go to the system and they have to evaluate, of course. They have to take out the readings to ensure that they are not overcharged, and to also ensure that they are paying for what they consumed. After that, we get across, we communicate to the customer in question, and then we're able to engage them with the DISCO, and then we're able to resolve the issue. So these are the steps that we've been taking.
All right, Honorable Commissioner, so far you've spoken to the issue as regards the steps that you've taken, okay? But I think to be more specific actually, one of the complaints that we've heard some persons make as regards these metering of a thing is the fact that the meters are not given to them free of charge as purported, okay? That the DISCOs, you said it's not in your purview, like it's the DISCO's responsibility to give out these meters. But some people have been complaining in some quarters that these meters are not given to them free of charge, that some of them are being charged, you know, for the meters. So do you see any element of truth in that?
Yes, like I did mention, there is a federal government district program. The federal is that come from the district program are absolutely free. However, if you need a vendor that is under the MAP program, which is the...
Interestingly, would give us, on-the-ground assessment of how you've been observing, the distribution of the free meters, if it's really free, and with regards estimated billing and how it has been affecting households and businesses here in Edo State. What have you observed so far?
Well, thank you, Admiral. On the issue of free metering, I just think that's just for the saying. I'm sure neither you nor I can say we have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 persons who said they've received free meter. And unfortunately, I didn't hear the commissioner mention the amounts for the meter that is being sold. The meter that is sold is officially for 113,000, and that's for the single phase meter, and the non-single phase, I think the 3-phase meter is 180,000. But you and I know that nobody has ever bought that 113,000 naira meter at 113,000 naira. Of course, we had recently, about 3 weeks ago, we had the stakeholders meeting where some of these issues were brought. Honestly, let me say that arising from that meeting, some of the advice we gave in the meeting that all these are just saying I've only been on paper and I've never had. People are not aware. Do a jingle, reach out. Thereafter, I've been saying jihad. Meters are all the single phase meter that goes to 113,000 have always been sold above 150,000 naira to people. Just last week, I met with a retired general who said he had an estate he built and he got meters directly from a BDC office. The least he paid was 170,000 naira for each single phase meter. So, and I may not want to mention the names, and I requested how, okay, and he mentioned a very senior person in the BDC. But like he said, let them be the ones carrying the message to BDC. To go into BDC alone, it's a failure. It's a failure. So that's not to say that a few of the complaints we have made to BDC have not been resolved, but it has always been like a camel passing through the eye of a needle. Yes, they tried to explain in that meeting last time that there are 2 programs. There's a free metering and there's this non-free metering program, because the free metering program does not have enough metering and the requests are much. But I dare say, I do not think that we have people who enjoy that free metering program. I do not think.
So much for raising interesting issues. Now, let me throw the question back to you, Commissioner. What do you make out of everything that he has said, and how has your office actually addressed some of these issues? Because it's simple enough, especially with the sensitization program.
Like I stated, to reiterate again, we have taken frantic steps to set up a committee that looks into the issue of estimated billing, and Edo Metering Assembly, duly approved by His Excellency Senator Mondo Mevolo. The essence of that is that stakeholders' engagement, wherein citizens, market women, civil society organizations, the major stakeholders within the state have come together to engage on the issue of power, to engage on the issue of metering, and all the challenges within the energy sector.
Right. How often is the stakeholder meeting? How often does it hold?
I've had 3 this year.
3, right.
Yes. And it's continuous. Not just only agencies that are in the power sector. Recently we went to TCN, we've also engaged with NISO, and then we've taken a step forward in respect of renewable energy to engage with the University of Benin and the National Center for Energy and Environment on how to carry out research, innovation, and technical expertise to ensure that we have enough solutions to generate energy and power for our state, to make the quota for energy sufficient.
Okay, I know my colleague have a question to ask, but just before he does, are there penalties actually exist for, persons who fault the metering process right here in Edo State with regards to accountability of the program?
Yes, the reality is that what has led to, we all focus on estimated billing. A lot of time, and the Ministry of Power have taken steps to ensure that if you take account, the first quarter of this year, power supply was very poor, very, very poor. We engaged with the DISCO, and they've improved the service. Light is better now within the state. However, this is not good enough. The Edo State government have taken steps to follow up with the decentralization policy of
because we also have shortage of the meters going around to everybody.
Yeah, I think the best thing to say, I would have expected the commissioner to say, is that BDC is that's hard to hear. There is no customer that would reject meter. People are tired of estimated billing. And that is not a comment made in favor of the suffering masses. I try to be very, very cautious with the choice of words I make, but I do not think that goes down well with me. And there are a lot of Nigerians to say that BDC give people meter. When people are paid, a lot of people are paid for meters and they don't get it. They have gone there thousands, countless times. They are not attended to. And the ones that they attend to, the BDC staff have the habit of trying to extort them. Either why are not rich. By the time they will give them the meter, they keep a code. When they exhaust the first unit inside, by the time they need them to do a recharge, they need to pay another money before you can give them code to reopen it. There are a whole lot of issues around. Make well to also explain that the civil society went all out in engaging all the sectors. The chairman of the chairman of the committee who went around, and I know the quarrels, the fight we had even with the ministry on some of the issues. Well, not trying to go back to history. It was a fight that led to a meeting we finally had in Government House with stakeholders. And I am not also impressed with the follow-up. But again, we are where we are because the major problem rests with the BDC. It rests on part of the issues because we are really not holding the ministry liable because the ministry are not the energy generator. They give them energy back value. How? When people in the area still pay for estimated billing and are still overcharged in one way or the other. So the issue of BDC is a long story to talk about. So that I
absolutely. Right, Comrade Solomon, thank you so much. You've raised so many concerns, but it's also worthy to note that at some point or the other in the country, NERC, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission,
which is a key regulation that we're trying to propagate through SEC, through the variable commissions in the various states, to ensure that people get refunds from this investment. That is one. Two, like I did mention earlier,
right.
We're also in collaboration with BDC. Very recently, they commissioned a 33 kV power station in Etete that covers the extended part of GRA. There's better and sufficient power now being deployed, within that area. The BDC is taking, for example, the local government I come from, It owes the BDC 7.3 billion naira of power that was evaded. Yes, and that's why large part of there is on Band C.
Well, there are those who would say,
and we see these records.
Right, there are those who would say that even the federal government at some point, we hear that they did owe money to, you know, the BDC and ministries and departments and agencies.
Yes.
So don't you think it's a case of the followers or Nigerian citizens, you know, emulating what the leaders are doing?
But it's wrong. The leadership is the secretariat and all other establishments of government pay BDC close to half a billion naira every month. His Excellency ensures that that money is paid, so that government would not pay for public utilities that they consumed. It's completely wrong.
Okay.
Completely.
All right. I would like you to respond specifically to an issue that he raised, the allegation that the BEDC to come and lay claim to it. Now, does that even make an iota of sense?
Yes, in respect of that, we are aware that we are trying to run through all the sects across the 36 states.
Some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates.
And we are taking up the discussion this morning with what has happened, what is currently happening in Apache communities. Woke up to what we can has been described as a massacre from Monday to Tuesday. People were being killed. There has been condemnation for quotas. As of yesterday, the Senate it's not the first time things like this are happening. There was also, as of yesterday, with people coming out, mostly women, and youth blocking major roads in various states. The situation seems to continue unabated. Nigerians can no longer go to bed with their clothes. Analyzing the situation, with me in the studio is more than a security analyst, Jonathan Onoja. He is also, I would call the son of the soul, because he is from the
Thank you. Good morning, and thanks for having me in your program.
What's the asset with your people? So what has it been like from Monday till this?
Yes, let me correct action. It's not what has happened to my people. It's happening to me. It affected me so bad directly because people I share same beliefs with, these are human beings that war with strangers, and at every point that the governor is coming to paint a picture, maybe because of the next general election, to accept the realities on ground, continues to play him off in there's no insecurity in Benue State. He has come to terms with it because he understands that the people the governor's SSS has become too much that the people can no longer take it. His insensitivity, his irresponsibility to the plight of the people.
Now,
these are all most of his SSS.
Now, you may need to retract that. Wait, let me just come this way. You can't just sit here and
The reprisal attack But this is taken in a wrong, because the people of Otukpo, the people of Idoma are not responsible for the death of the Magba chairman. I was in Benue State. I went physically to go and support. I was there. The incident happened. You for I told you when the thing happened, and so was come back to this man and other. Even I left his from all quarters. This is not the first time people have been killed in Benue State, not because it's the Benue people that did it. The allegation that they were coming from the peace deal, well, that this is why I said it's a failure of the government, because failure of leadership that this has happened. What are the medium, the conflict of medium that have been to ensure they agree?
Some are incapacitated. The Oyo situation, the governor of Oyo State,
yes,
because I said as a governor there is little or nothing at that time. So are you also aware of the situation?
I am aware of the situation.
Answer to the center and wait for action.
You see, Charity, you will need to understand certain things, and will not begin to play sentiment when it has to do with security. Now, these governors, 2 days ago, there were protests in Otukpo. The youth say, this is enough, we can't take it. Now, the governor took permission from the Senate when he deployed armed men for that protest. They take permission from the center to go around these local governments for campaign that is going to show that it's going to be properties. But it goes around for campaign.
That is a different situation.
These governors, the days of the when they come to take the humongous security votes, now these are all implications. Governor, it is explicitly stated in the laws, has the right to direct the commissioner of police. Which organ the police are going to bring from Abuja is the same police in Benue State. The reason why we have it so bad is that instead of utilizing the security votes, the funds for the purpose of security, they take it and give to this. If I tell you the messages I have in my phone, those area commanders are not being mobilized for nothing, not even light. Go and ask. We talked about checkpoints. We have ambassadors in various zones in Benue that is contributing to their quotas. We have this who built station, an individual police station. It was commissioned, bought them a car, mobilized them every now and then, support the community. A governor who takes security votes, how many checkpoints has it digitalized? How many police stations does it mobilize? How many local government take security votes? Go to Benue State from and ask this question.
Who is also from the state, Abba categorically stated that it do not have funding. Do not have enough funding, and it can't even fund the local security that they have. That was when he was talking about, and he said state police alone will not take it.
I think in that perspective, it's agreed. Greedy politicians. The Senator Abba Moro is a senatorial district, and it is under a senatorial district that the local government lies.
That was exactly why he moved motion.
These motions are only wishy-washy.
Why?
We have had people moved motions. Honorable President also came and made these motions. Make motions beyond making these motions. We need to look at insecurity. It happens under somebody's local government, as a local government chairman, House of Rep member, State of Assembly member, the senator. These four component persons have roles to play. If there is something for the state governors, approval of the subsidy, governors were taking as much as 5 billion, 6 billion, 7 billion for security votes. What are these utilized for? What is this meant for? Nobody questioning the excesses of the government, and that's why I'm the EFC. When you talk about no, he's being covered, he has immunity. A lot is happening. That is why only when people leave government.
Not the EFCC that gave the governors.
But there should be judicial use. I said there should be a way to amend a position. The usual spend of 50 votes. We had a governor in this state, in this country, that on national television, like we talk here, that said there was a time they were using this money to take bandits in the various zones. They called a national policy from the office of the Secretary. He said it on live television. The National and National RFI. And nobody has come to debunk.
They did not take care of bandits.
What taking care of them?
It's part of the negotiation that some governors have entered.
So where is this money
for them to stop the kidnapping and the killing?
Which state government negotiate with bandits, terrorists? No state country does that. I'm trying to tell you something. Where is the money that is used, budgeted from? Where is the budget on our national budget that there's a money budgeted for negotiation of bandits? So what I'm trying to let you know is that these governors, they have triple of what they for after the removal of the.
Are you saying
so
they are just playing lip service?
They are playing lip
Whenever
service.
they say they are committed
they have
to
money to do that.
Of lives and properties of
Has
citizens.
Abamoro constructed one local vigilante station in Benue South? Local vigilante.
He did say they are
What
always
is it?
asking him for that. They are always that each time he travels, that they always ask him for gadgets to work with.
So you can also see that.
He did say that.
Yeah, you can also see that. You can also see that he also needed to be involved. Motion, like I said, he's just playing the lip service. The current politicians from Benue South, even the governor I said earlier, is being embodied activity individuals. Now, because of politics, nobody want to say A to be A. Why would you come out and say that the government does not have the funding? Are you the one approving the security votes on a monthly basis? Does he know how much the governor takes? The governor's excesses cannot be taken by the big gain. I said Talia and Samode, ordinarily in the state society, is expected to have resigned within the 48 hours after failing to protect the lives and property of the people.
As a security analyst, I want to speak to a particular issue because this is not the first time that an incident would occur, and we'll get to hear that there was prior information. It's happening, and what happened in Kebbi State when those students were kidnapped, that the people who were supposed to be there protecting the place were put out before the incident occurred. That is an order from above. And then this particular one, it's been said that the local government chairman said he received intel that this was going to happen, and he quickly called the commissioner of police. So what would you say to these incidences of getting the information and wait until it happens?
The commissioner have told our people and we will give them the necessary support. It's a time we get involved. We will not leave the protection of our lives and properties to the hands of government. You see, when there's intelligence, credible intelligence requires action. It is their ineptitude and always being reactive that makes them say certain things.
Commissioner, according to Senator Abamoro, that the commissioner said she couldn't reach the governor.
The commissioner does not need to reach the governor either. It is because the commissioner also does not know his job. And that's why one of our demands, we demanded that the AIG and the commissioner should be redeployed out immediately from Benue State, because they have shown that they do not mean well for the people of Benue State. The local government chairman has a local vigilantes operating under him. What is his mobilization to those vigilantes? He has local youth, security outfit. What is the level of mobilization? You see, we go around creating insecurity and all the time thinking that we will get it right. That's why I said it here before now that we cannot.
How do we create insecurity to get it right?
Now, we go around creating regional security outfits.
Okay, regional security outfits.
These security outfits are not being taken. Much later, how to use weapons. You have shown them how to operate, and then you don't take care of them. You have created insecurity because the intention was to bring them together, train them, become useful. Because when you have trained, after 1 month they were paid, they bought their uniform by themselves, they buy fuel, they go for the next thing to do. And so they ended up creating insecurity and then throwing the blame game at everybody. If you have information that this is what is going to happen, why did you mobilize the local vigilantes? If the commissioner of police is not answerable to you, is the local vigilantes, the commanders, not also answerable to you, we must go back to the drawing board. This conventional security architecture does not befit the current Nigeria insecurity.
So are you saying you are in support of the establishment of state police?
Nigeria as a country,
Nigeria
as a country now is not ripe for state police. State police.
What are you saying?
State police, I'm coming. State police presents a very fantastic, robust framework. But beyond that, beyond the legal framework, there are things. If you recall, yesterday also, the president has also sent an amendment bill to that effect. There must be certain. Number one, I break it down to another where you get me better. State police, the essence of state police is to protect the local community. And the state. You cannot have an state police which is going to translate into community policing without the trust of Nigerians. So you are not saying that the local government chairman said he called a police commissioner and he never responded or waiting to hear from the governor. Now, until there is a trust, a community trust, that is when the locals will share intelligence, share information. With this kind of attitude from the police, would the local government chairman prefer to call him again or call another alternative? So the police must brand their image, launder their image before the Nigerian public and the international communities.
But you're also aware that the whole idea, you're aware that state police is also an opportunity for agents to be recruited into the response.
We agree on that. To train those people. Are you bringing police from they call them police structure. You want to take them to me? You will train them and teach them what you have been teaching your people. Nothing is good again. So we must rebrand and launder the image of the Nigerian police force, not the community trust. Number two, the fear of the excesses of governors to use those police. We curtail. And where, if you look at what our police have been on checkpoints, various checkpoints, just travel, you will marvel. You can load a truck, just do 1,500 naira. Don't for the Sabi driver. When we are doing that, state police, they say bail is free. How effective is that? Is bail free? This concept must be real.
When you go to the police station with a lawyer, it's free.
Bail is free. with your police, with your lawyer, or with your IG.
No, when you go with your lawyer,
Whether you go with your lawyer, Tanko, I have been involved. And I am telling you, my involvement, you don't have that involvement that I have. The police knows me.
You are the security.
So I'm involved. I'm into the system. See, nothing goes for nothing. Until we have a police system that is trustable by the Nigerian people, we cannot share a community trust.
But seriously, the Benue situation, what is that holistic method or measure would you say should be done to put a stop to this? If you were to have a sit down with your governor or Mr. President, what will you tell them holistically?
Done it before. First, from the west, there's a need for an immediate military base to be established. Knowing who is going in and know who is coming out. Number two, the Otukpo-Naka road needs a standard digitalized checkpoint. Number three, inaugurates a reconciliatory committee, peace committee. Have a reconciliatory peace committee between aggrieved members of the Benue citizens and disgruntled headers or visitors, all those invaders. Number four, enact full-scale enforcement of the anti-open grazing law. And number five, be true to governance. When you are true to governance, the sincerity of purpose will be felt and seen. The collective good of the state will become your interest. You are not looking at what Zunsi is, because the current governor has further teared that relationship, that brotherly love that we used to have, because of the neglect that the Idoma nation does not care. And in governance, you don't know whether this person is Mr. A, Idoma, or Tiv, or Igede. You must see everybody as one. When the governor comes to a round table, even his party affairs fight and all of that, it's also a battle of insecurity. He does not have the support base, and again does not have the goodwill of the people. So until the governor be able to attendize all those 5 points and come to a point and say, gentlemen, it is time for us to prioritize one Benue. If we don't have one Benue, we can't have a better. And that's why, let me round up, Charity. I am appealing to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because if Benue State fails today, Nigeria has failed. Because Benue is a full basket of the nation.
So thank you very much. I'm
so
sure we'll call you back for this conversation. We've had it all. Plateau, Kaduna, in fact, almost every state in this country has one form of support. It is time for those who are at the helm of affairs to rise up to their responsibility and ensure that what is in the Constitution is fully enforced and implemented. What we've got from the Abuja Network studio, we will be hearing more from our Lagos studio.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about...
what I said.
So
So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our.
Many thanks for joining on CMI this beautiful morning. I am Marcelina, and welcome to our Lagos Network studio. I have Dr. Victor Ohai here with me. We'll do this together. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning. Another wonderful day, and we have a topic that is trending still on, and we also have a very interesting guest who will be doing justice to it.
All right, and our guest this morning that would help us talk onto this topic is Bishop James Grant Okocha. He is a political analyst. Bishop, good morning. Thank you so much for joining on the program.
Good morning, Mercy, and good morning, Nigerians. I'm always excited to be here to talk about Nigeria.
Okay, interesting. So we have a lot to talk about today concerning the fake PF IPC agency arrest of self-acclaimed DG Adeyemi for failing to appear in court. That is all going to be the conversation we're going to be having today. And the court has fixed September 30 for arraignment. I mean, it's a whole lot. So what are the most of the things that they accused them of? He was arrested for allegedly failing to appear in court. The proceedings says he is facing trial for forgery, fraud, and impersonation, while opposition's figures are demanding an independent investigation into how the fake agency allegedly got office space and budgetary allocation. The scandal has increased scrutiny of the Tinubu administration ahead of the 2027 general election. So, like I said earlier, there is a lot to talk about today concerning this particular topic. And we also saw Dr. Victor, before we come to our guest, I saw a video where a post on X where Shawari says, it said by now, President Tinubu, Chief of Staff's Femi Gbajabiamila should also be under arrests and investigations if the authorities are truly committed to uncovering the fact.
Well, you know, in an ideal situation, we should be talking about resignation, not even before you even talk about the arrest. And the reason being that if you are still in a position of authority and you are a suspect in a case, and you are in a position to influence it, then obviously it's like a mice going for justice in a court of cards. You know, that's going to be very difficult. The gentleman has called for an independent, inquiry, you know, involving NGOs and international organizations. And I think it makes sense. The way I see it, I doubt that this mouse will get justice, but we have to wait and see what happens.
Thing is, how did a non-existent federal agency operate publicly for this long? Did any government official knowingly supported it? These are most of the questions that people, public funds are looking at. How many investors may have been misled at this point? You know, there are lots to talk about. Bishop James Grant, let's get to hear your take. I mean, they even have an office for this long before, you know, this whole thing came out, before the notice. How can a non-existent federal agency publicly, and they're just finding out?
Well, this is a national embarrassment. I don't know if something like this has happened in any nation. The world is laughing at us. This matter exposed the degree of porosity and accountability in the Nigerian society. It's too bad. I don't know whether we know the weight of what we're talking about. Just go and do an ordinary company account in commercial banks, like the UBAs, like the, you know, the.
Avoid mentioning brands. Yeah.
But these are commercial banks. Yeah. So nothing wrong with that anyway.
For us,
okay. All these banks, you see how tidied up the processes could be. You can never run on big, because your NIN is involved. I mean, everything about you is there. Yeah. And commercial banks will do these things to central bank. And this is somebody who has an agency, has an account with the central bank. I will never believe that can have access to an account with the central bank, with the fake agency. This is a discredit to the central bank of number one. This is a discredit to the Ministry of Finance. Number two, this is a huge discredit to intelligence agencies. This is a discredit to, in fact, to the office of the Secretary of the Federal Government. Every person that is involved in this whole, long chain of operation should be arrested. Impunity has a around him. So you don't talk about arresting the president. By the way, this is not about the president right now. Until maybe we get to hear some testimonies that will involve him. But I know that it's not about him, because people that walk around political office holder, it's not. It could be. It is very serious. It's very serious. All right. So I don't know how these things will be done, but I think that for independent, investigation, around, I think that very many people should. Do you know that agency a budget allocation? This matter has given a big discredit to the National Assembly. They gave budget. Does it mean that Assembly can just give budget to any name they see without knowing the agency? So, very deep. And I don't want Nigerians to take it the way we take our things. All right? Because the world is watching. They want to see what will become. If corruption, if fraud can get to a point where somebody uses operation to defraud nations, because this agency have been bringing, nationals for investment. People have been coming from every country. So if we can let the world think that somebody can use an agency in a natural collaboration, to defraud nations, I mean, we are in trouble.
Okay, so I'm surprised that you're surprised. Let me say what I want to say now. Because this thing seems to be a way of life. A person who's never driven before will go and obtain driver's license without going through due process. I don't know how this is different. Okay? There are so many things we obtain in this country where processes are bypassed. Agencies will just say, and which is why we have building collapses and things like that. Because somebody somewhere will just, don't worry, just pay the money and we'll do it. And as we have seen in this particular case, allegedly, the gentleman involved said they asked him to pay, or he paid 400. It was supposed to pay 600.
600.
He has deposited 400 million. And the only reason we're hearing now is because the demand on him, when I think he has not even recovered his initial capital, was becoming too much, and because the go-between was exterminated, if I'm or unalived, the language that we use these days. So the guy is no longer there to corroborate the story. So the gentleman is on his own. But the question I want to ask you is this. If this man had not cried out because of fear for his life, because of what happened to his friend, do you think this thing would have come out?
Well, doctor, there are cases like this, even bigger cases that, that have been swept under the carpet because of voicelessness. People are afraid, and all of that. And then, Adeyemi's issue, sir, it's not like the agency issues you talked about. Those things are internal. But this is an external issue involving nations, involving people from nationals coming from other countries. This is an issue involving the NC, the executive arm of government in Nigeria. This is an issue involving the lawmakers. The lawmakers are there. This is an issue involving the Central Bank of Nigeria. No institution should be more credible like the finance institution. The CBN supposed to be apex of credibility. So if something involves them and dates them, that means Nigeria is black. So this is a very sensitive and serious issues. I know the heads of service. Sir, you have securities all over the place. You cannot enter the gate without telling who you want to see. How could a man dress up every morning with his entourage? They will open the gate for him. He will go there and sit in an office. It cannot happen. If you know that head of service, if you know the head of SLEX, you will know that this place is highly secured. You will tell them who you are looking for, the appointment you are coming for. So I don't know how we can unravel the mysteries behind this whole matter. We have to be very, very sensitive so we can save the face of Nigeria. This is not about Prince Adeyemi. This is not about Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. This is about Nigeria as a whole.
Who are the responsible for this matter? We should call to common. I mean, you attempted to mention a few of them, but right now the man is sitting on the dock. And is it not, could he have done this alone? Who are those you think should come and answer the question?
Doctor, this is the case of an organized crime. He has been running this agency, snapping pictures with people in authority. You invite a national house. Is it press? It's not working with embassies. So the people that should be, questioned in this case, there are so much. The Secretary of the State of the federal government should tell us what he knows about this. The National Assembly should tell us what they know about this. In a budget to an agency, in fact, I like the way journalists report it. They call it, but if you read an article about this, they put it. Meaning that they are not even convinced
that it is fake.
I mean, so since the matter is in the court, we are begging that there's more intimidation. Let this man, let's give him fair hearing.
So you think Adeyemi is going to be intimidated?
Well, you saw when he disappeared. He said, it's because that his life is threatened. He disappeared. He said that's why he appeared to appear in the court. Understand? So we shouldn't have. There are cases that have come up like this. Somebody will come and say what happened. Before you know it, he will come on air and say something different.
I recall the case of Dave Umahi and the lady who was accused about contract payment and all that. The eventually was swept on that. Do you think this has a chance of doing that, or this one might end up like his friend, or how do you think this is going to go?
But I think there are people that are interested in this matter that wouldn't allow it to go that way. There are people that are really, really in this matter, because this matter will take us to making decisions as regard 2027. This matter is sensitive. What this matter is suggesting to us is that there are agencies collecting money that are not legally recognized agencies, money, and making use of those monies. And that's what Nigerians are asking. We've been asking, where are the monies? The subsidy money, the loan monies, the internal revenue, generated revenue. Money, but it's not affecting us. Look at Nigerian roads. The roads are so bad. It's the only thing we can boast of us, the coaster. The one we use every. They are death traps. Tell you how much money they have budgeted within these 3 years. Nigeria should have been finer than Dubai. If this money are used, let's should take this serious. Let's know to us. Let's know who is killing us.
The question is, how many more agencies are out there that we don't know about? I mean, how many that would not even, I mean, get to find out because this is out. So what if you mentioned the money we are getting from the subsidy, first subsidy removal, loans and what are Nigerians using it for? And a lot of persons are concerned that what if, we just know about this, what if there are still more agencies out there that we don't know about, fake agencies?
Mercy, I didn't even know that there is a commission of the Amajiri. There's an Amajiri commission that is receiving budget. I just had this for a few days when a man in the north came to cry out that the Amajiri commission to them that they discovered that 1.something billion of the money had been used to do a road. Can you just imagine?
Okay, I think we should do this session. Take any of our budgets, look at the budget document, to any ministry, any parasite, or any, you will discover. And I started seeing this from 2 years ago when I said a more active interest, line by line, in the budgetary thing because of the way this current National Assembly. I found out that in a ministry like culture, tourism, and creative economy, for instance, you will see solar power in Musa village. Yeah? I'm saying literally what I saw.
Okay.
You will see things that are totally unrelated to what we're doing for that ministry. And then I began asking questions. And then they said National Assembly people they are inserting projects in it. The core mandate of these ministries, governments and agencies, the money for them are not allocated. They may be there, but they are not even released. It is pressure is put to release for the ones that are totally unrelated. So what we're talking about here, the issue of Abeokuta, Amajiri budget, what was it?
Road.
Two roads. Maybe so that the Amajiris will have a smooth pathway through. So, but just so you know, these are some of the anomalies. How can we as Nigerians now, we don't take advantage of these budgets and all that. What should we start doing now when budgets come? What do you have for Nigerians concerning budgets? At the beginning of every budget circular, when this is happened, Nigerians should begin to address the issue of budgets right now.
Yeah, Dr. Mercy, there was a information bill. I don't even know that if any government towards that part. We don't even know what is happening in Nigeria.
Have you made a request?
No, certain things I do.
No, have you applied for information yet?
Sometimes I do.
It's not just asking from here.
Yes,
there's a process.
Yes.
There's actually a process. Latin Nigerians as well. There's actually a process. You go to the agency concerned, formally, make that request, and invoke that under that freedom of information, you wish to know. So you should not be deterred. If you are, then you can now, what we do, we say, why is this happening? If you don't apply, you don't get it. You get what I'm saying? So we'll continue what you
we should make this a hashtag. All right? We should add voice to it. Define it. The processes. And let Nigerians know. See, if you're not calling people's interests into policy, things will keep happening this way. Nigerians should come to a point where we'll start holding political office holders, holding them accountable. The truth of the matter is the National Assembly that's supposed to be our voices. They have failed us. They are not speaking our interest. There is the last thing that was signed into, I'm trying to remember, a senator from the north was insisting, I think it's about the state police or something. He was insisting that he has to take these documents back home and discuss them and feel their thoughts on this and come and report. But most of those senators and House of Reps, do whatever they like without taking records to how we feel as their constituents. So I think it's time we start holding these people accountable. I start collecting 5,000, 4,000 to to return a man to office who has not really represented us well.
Okay, let's talk about foreign investments in this case. Could this scandal affect Nigerians' image in destination as a destination for foreign investment?
Messi, why not? An investor will be asking you, who am I dealing with?
So we're talking about the fake agency.
That's what I'm saying now.
Okay.
If you are speaking with an investor, he will be like, who am I dealing with?
They want to be sure.
Is this one original? See, I have been saying it in different fora that people in Nigeria, they are the ones in Nigeria. Yes, by their conduct. They are the ones the marketing in Nigeria. Like when something, they were telling him that, going there to talk about, going to talk about the children that it was the marketing. No, sir. That's a campaign for freedom. A campaign. That's not the marketing in Nigeria. That's what it means. What we are doing right now, tell me people already, you know that some investors left Nigeria. Many companies left because not sure. And right now, we are trying to work. And the agency of them have been doing is fake. So, we will not discourage investment. That's what we do. It's not about traveling to go to the countries and come in. If our house is not there, if we are seen as a fraud, that we can, we can tolerate fraud to the echelon of leadership, I think nobody will be willing to deal with us.
Okay, let me ask this. According to the fake agency, we're talking about what the agency represents. Let's go through the bathwater. Do you not think that we need, and even though the foundation is flawed, the reason we say fake is because this agency does not have the backing of an act of parliament, because ideally somebody should sponsor a bill creating an agency like that. It will be debated in past several readings, and finally the House will pass it, and then the president will give his assent for the creation of that agency. That's a normal process. But somebody somewhere, or somebody somewhere, just decided to create an agency without going through due process. That is what has made it fake. Let's not throw the baby with bathwater. Do you think this agency is necessary, and you think it has a purpose to serve if it had been passed through the right way? I mean, after all is said and done, do you see a need for an agency like that to go through the normal process to be created, and then so that it can have teeth and do what it's supposed to do?
Doctor, I think most people leading us in Nigeria, they don't have vision. They don't have the strides to create employment, and that's why you see there is a repetition. For example, the Nigerian police has out of it that road traffic. Those people that wear yellow, they take care of road traffic. Right now, you will see a repetition of the same thing. So, like what the federal road, road safety, doing that. In Lagos State, LASMA is doing that. There are some more other agencies, like in local government, in Ikeja people, they dress like, the brown color or something. They are also doing that. One duty, 5 agencies will be doing that. Tell me what this agency should have been doing, if not because there is a corruption tendencies, all right, that the foreign... What's the purpose of the Foreign Affairs Ministry?
Well, okay, we're talking about that. Nigerians in the diaspora.
Even that one now.
Nigerians in the diaspora.
Yeah, but also, yes, also even that agency, Nigerian diaspora, all right?
You have Nigerian investment.
You have it. So you see, whatever this agency is doing, there are other agencies doing them. So I don't even see the need for this agency. You will start all the agencies that are reaching out to foreign people to come and invest. This is how they will allocate, budget for all of them, and they are all doing the same thing. So we must prune down. That's why we are looking for someone who is very patriotic, very decisive, who is looking for, not trying to have agencies to set alliances.
Or to raise campaign.
Or to raise campaign for no, it's true. Do you understand me? Most of these agencies, it's like what we're doing in taxation. Most of us, there are people that you see one tax, in other ways, paying that same tax and all of that. Right? So I don't even see the need for that agency. Of responsibility.
So don't you think this scandal is going to be a major issue for the first government?
That is what I'm saying. I say I want it to be a major issue.
You want it to be a major issue?
Because it should be.
Okay.
You cannot. That's why I want this one to be arraigned. Let him come to court and tell Nigerians the story.
The state will secret trial. We have seen it before.
Well, it's all possible. So, but if you do a secret trial, my advice to the government, it will people not to believe the system, believe the process. We want to believe our leaders. We want to believe the government. The only way to believe them is transparency. Let them show us. Let's see what is going on. Let's hear them out talk.
Talking about transparency, do you think these whole things are going to be transparent and fair to Adeniyi Adeyemi?
That's what
I'm actually saying the truth.
Let me ask something to that question. Even before anything, the president said, I have in my chief of staff. He has made the categorical statement. The judiciary heard it. Agencies heard it. Very old enough. Can we expect justice after such a categorical vote of confidence in favor of the chief of staff?
Doubts.
Why is it?
Because, in Nigeria, we have strong personalities and weak institutions. The institution playing the beat of personality. All right. So if a strong personality would come and declare, in other words, that means my chief of staff is innocent. That's the intent of that word. That the president has confidence in him. I think that every other person involved in this case should also, will as Nigerian runs, will try to dance, to the body language of the president. And for me, my own opinion, I thought that statement came too quick. Too quick. Say the ball stops here. All right? That means talk this no more. And that kind of, conclusive,
But in the same breath, he set up it has ICPC certification, right? So I don't get it, because you can't stop it on the one hand and get outside the constitution. So I don't think he actually stopped it. But maybe, the government is not going after the man. Is it for not too wide, too soon for fighting against those treatment?
You mean Adeyemi?
Yeah.
But they were saying this. I don't know if I'm taking myself as a yardstick. I doubt the boss. Anybody can muzzle from anywhere and come to the public and corporate conference and close his eyes against it.
So you think Adeyemi is saying the truth?
Well, I think that there are, for me, I will not say 100% truth.
Okay.
All right? Because doctors, he did not go.
So many people.
No, the word fake there implies that the process of that agency did not go through the normal process for setting up. You didn't even by an act of parliament.
Okay.
The question again I've asked, but I mean, you're not a lawyer, I would have just gone into more details. To say, well, that there is it, what kind of power does the president have to? Does the president have power to set up agencies without an act of parliament? If so, which kind? And if not, you know, things like that.
Exactly.
But I think the president is, I don't know, say denying knowledge of this.
Exactly.
Agents.
Fake how they get on Abuja, all of that.
So, the office space is my concern because I know how that place is. Who are you? Who is your father? They go to head of service there and tell them to give you the office space. They give you a floor. Who are you now?
My question again is why are they not investigating this invention?
That is what all of us are saying. Matters like this, let's be transparent. Let's not shield people. As he's being interrogated, let's ask questions. Because I don't know if anybody has come to deny. I have not heard that there was no money given. Whether you have heard, I don't know. In fact, the honorable he's accusing is not making statement. He's not saying anything in this direction. He's not saying it's not true. He's not saying true. Yeah, man. I mean the chief of staff. But it is even the media person that has come to say that this is a fake agency. Do you understand? So we will also want to hear from Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, the chief of staff. Okay. When we hear from him, let him tell us fake. Then we know how with Adeyemi. At least if we can't prosecute him, if he's passing on the road, we can just be shaming him.
What about the Gentleman Act? The person was killed. Or whatever. The guy was killed. And I think that scared and shook him a bit. And that's probably the reason why it came out. How can we get justice for that guy? Nobody has talked about it. And how do you suspect any foul? How can we get around that?
The thing is that the only institution that can help us to unravel every mystery behind this is the judiciary.
Not the police. You have to do investigation.
Yeah, the police will do investigation, but no matter the police investigation, you still have to subject them to
the evidence.
Yes, to the court. So that's why we are pleading with the judiciary to help us sanitize this system. You cannot believe the judiciary has the greatest power ever, democracy. Because the judiciary can the president. They can remove the lawmakers. They are the ones that we have our hopes on right now. Let them help us without being biased. Nigerians need to know what happened. We need to clear our faces, even from perception, how people perceive us out of Nigeria. We need to do something about this. So people will not have wrong narrative. Anywhere you go, you have the green passport. They want to remove your undies because they believe that yes, they believe that everybody is there. Somebody has made a statement. Some that it's a forgery nation. And when you look at it, during COVID-19, I brought a Chinese guy here. There's a business we are doing. So he wanted to go back. I told him to fly back to have your COVID-19 certification that you laughed at me. The kind of is supposed to change. Laughed at me and say, it's not Nigeria. Get your money, you bye-bye.
Have you?
I felt so embarrassed.
Can you imagine?
It's a culture. You watch it, me get my money, me money giving me by. And actually, that is how he left. So most of these people have impression that we are lawless. What you have money, you can escape anything. And we must rise up to change this narrative.
So how are we going to change the narrative?
Well, that's what it to start from the judiciary. It will start from the judiciary. Let them be on situations like this. Only the judiciary can save us.
If you are given a brand new house, and the man who gives you a brand new house comes and says, look, Mama Kade before you. And no, I'm just saying.
That's the thing with the citizens, we also have a lot to do with about being patriotic. Because I've had a guest that says, oh, we shouldn't blame the government always, we should always the citizens. Are we patriotic Nigerians?
Well, I don't know about the guests, but me, why I always show up here to talk, it's not because I want people to see my face. What is driving me is raining. I have a lot of places I go to speak about the issue of Nigeria. It's patriotism. I don't know about him. I am patriotic, sir. When I get to the airport, where you can sit and wait for guests at the airport, I feel very hot. When I sit
lounge, if you have your money, you sit and wait.
That's why. Why do we make Nigeria money?
Okay, you mean if you're waiting for your guest?
Yes, like if somebody's arriving, you want to pick him, people will just be hanging, outside that and all of that. There's no place that they see the people. These are things that suggest decency. I get angry when I see people urinating on the road. I will stop and I will caution them. I'm not a policeman. Some will even insult me. I'll say it concerns me. You don't defecate on the. So I know that Nigerians are patriotic.
Can be patriotic.
And they can be more patriotic. Have you seen before? Do you see how we carry the white green color?
But that's nothing to do with maintaining law and order.
No, I'm telling you. I'm telling you that.
Small, just to me, something as small as driver's license. Because this impunity starts at the minute level where we think doesn't. You have to go and get approval. Make it difficult. You go with everything. They will find an excuse for you not, and then so that they can get money for themselves. These are some of the problems that we face with. So citizens have their role. But again, local government level, I keep saying the allocations that they get. You are there. We're talking about federal. We're talking about how about the local government chairman? Have you ever heard him accountable? Is the closest to you. The money he receives, how does he use them? The next is some of them set up big companies becoming like paupers and live like multi-billionaires. No one is asking questions. We're queuing up to be the next councillor or local government chairman or so. The world of citizens. Right from the lowest level, how can we speak to that?
Let's see.
Accountability.
Doctor, before you speak to Nigerians, I am very intentional to speak to the judiciary. Of course, the law enforcement agencies are part of the judiciary. Why do you think that people are law-abiding in America? Do you want abiding? No.
It works.
Yes, the system works. Nobody wants to be law. Maybe because it abide the law. Therefore, you understand me? But because when you go against it, when you have something to take home, the law comes after you. So in a situation, people can have money and get driver's license, or I have a fake driver's license, and road safety agencies on the road, and they ask me, give them maybe 500 naira or 1,000 naira, and I leave. It comes back to the law enforcement agencies, the judiciary. They are the first people I am speaking to.
So if there's a If there's consequence for behavior, people will start behaving well.
That's what I'm also pleading with the government, because at times, you see, most of this corruption is hunger. I have suggested in different fora that the security agencies, if free, they should be.
Onwa is rich in culture and traditions. The people are a mixture of traditional worshippers, Muslims and Christians. Onwa is located at the northern part of Edo State. It consists of two local government areas, that is Onwa West and Onwa East. It has a total number of 13 clans and 21 political wards, according to National Population Commission 2006 census. The population of Onwa people is put together at 251,686. The people love tradition and culture. Historically, the people ancestors in deep quest to hand down on their future children a society of love and friendship.
ITV, certainly the best.
A very beautiful morning to you, and thanks for joining us on ITV News. First time, I am Harry J. We begin with the Federal High Court in Abuja, which is the figure of 48 property linked to former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami to the federal government. Justice Joyce Abdul Malik, in a judgment delivered in Abuja on Wednesday, held that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had established the reasonable suspicion required by law to justify the forfeiture of the assets. The judge ruled that Malami, his family members, and companies linked to the properties failed to dislodge the Commission's allegation that the assets were acquired with proceeds of unlawful activities. Before delivering the substantive judgment, Justice Abdul Malik dismissed several applications, motions of notice, and applications to show cause filed by the respondents, describing them as wanting in merit. She held the issue before the court was not the ownership of the properties, but the legitimacy of funds used to acquire them. She added that the respondents had not dislodged the reasonable suspicion that the property was acquired by unlawful activities. Relying on Section 17 of the Advanced Fee Fraud and Other Fraud-Related Offences Act, Justice Abdul Malik granted the EFCC's application for fund forfeiture. The Chief Judge of the Federal Capital Territory FCT High Court, Justice Hussein Yusuf, has described the welfare of judicial officers as an institutional necessity rather than privilege, saying improved living and working conditions are essential for an independent and effective judiciary. FCT correspondent Joy Goje Yahima reports that he spoke on Wednesday at the presidential inauguration of the newly completed 20-unit judges' quarters in Abuja.
The Chief Judge of the Federal Capital Territory FCT High Court, Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf, says this project represents a strategic investment in the administration of justice and the strengthening of democratic institutions. Justice Baba Yusuf believes that this administration is committed to judicial reforms.
The strength of every democracy rests upon strong institutions, and amongst those institutions, the judiciary provides a unique place and entrusted with the solemn duty of interpreting the law, protecting rights, resolving disputes, restraining arbitrariness, and preserving the balance upon which democratic governance rests. For judges to discharge this onerous duty with courage, independence, and clarity of mind, their welfare and working conditions must receive consistent and practical attention. This project therefore speaks to a fundamental truth. The welfare of judicial officers is not a privilege. It is an institutional necessity that promotes stability, enhances productivity, safeguards personal security, and preserves the dignity that must accompany judicial office.
FCT Minister Yesa Wike emphasizes on good maintenance culture for the infrastructure provided. He also apps on the safety of administrators of justice.
You go to most places where our judges are living, you don't even know whether they are living around armed robbers, even those that they are handling their cases. And so it has been the directive of Mr. President, something has to be done. And that's why we have to go strategically, trying to provide the division, Court of Appeal division, and residencies for the justices of Court of Appeal that are in the city. Also the same thing for the justices of the judges of the Federal High Court.
From Abuja, Joy Igoche Heakina, ITV News.
And Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, on Wednesday allayed widespread concerns that proposed state police could become instruments of political intimidation, insisting that the executive bill of the National Assembly contains extensive constitutional safeguards to prevent governors or political actors from hijacking state-controlled security outfits. Honorable Abbas was speaking at the National Security Roundtable held as part of the 2026 National Assembly Open Week at the National Assembly Library Trust Fund, Abuja. Organi Victor was there and now reports.
Speaking at the National Security Roundtable, Honorable Abbas says the executive bill contains strict constitutional safeguards to prevent abuse and ensure accountability in the operation of state police. Other speakers at the National Assembly Open Week, including House Leader Professor Julius Ihimere, former Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Rabo retired, and Kaduna State Governor who has advocated legislative policing, greater use of technology, and the inclusion of traditional rulers in addressing security challenges.
I'd like you to take your minds away from the House of Reps. Take it back to your communities and to your political parties that produce those that come to the House of Reps. That is where you corrupt, contaminate the process of producing those who want to go and do oversight.
The challenge before us, therefore, is not just to merely create new institutions, but in addition, build strong relationships between existing ones. Talk about both federal and states alike.
We have what we call state police, well organized, well structured, and well funded to ensure that we have effective peace and security in our communities.
The House of Representatives says public hearings on the proposed legislation will continue before the bill is passed. From the National Assembly, Organi Victor, ITV News.
Let's now come back home in Edo State, where the police command has rescued 3 students of Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma, who were abducted by suspected kidnappers during a deadly attack that claimed the life of another student. Addressing journalists on Tuesday in Benin City on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Monday Agbonika, the Police Public Relations Officer, ASP Inoikwe, said students were rescued following the coordinated security operation involving the police, the Nigerian Army, Edo State Security Corps, and local hunters. Jonah Morowa was there.
According to the Police Public Relations Officer, Ike Edem, the incident occurred on July 12, 2026, when armed men attacked Ujeme, DT Extension area in Ekpoma. During the attack, 24-year-old Peter Ekme Adolo, a 300-level AAU student, reportedly responded to distress calls outside a hostel gate and was shot in the abdomen by one of the assailants. He was rushed to a Guaven hospital where he was confirmed dead. The gunmen subsequently abducted 15 students before escaping into a nearby forest. After sustained intelligence operations and extensive bushcombing, the joint team traced the kidnappers to their hideout in Era Forest on July 14, 2026. A gun battle ensued, forcing the kidnappers to abandon their captive and fled.
During the operation, the 3 kidnapped Ambrose Ali University students were successfully rescued alive and rushed to the hospital for medical attention. One suspected kidnapper was neutralized, while another was apprehended with serious gunshot injuries. Operations are ongoing to apprehend the fleeing suspects, while the command is pleased with the successful rescue of the abducted students.
The operation also led to the recovery of 3 AK-47 rifles with magazine, 36 rounds of 7.6mm live ammunition, 5 mobile phones, 2 power banks, a Red Cross bag, and a phone charger. From Benin, John Mowa, ITV News.
Edo State Governor Senator Monday Okpebholo has assured members of the Welders Association of his administration readiness to continue in creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. Governor Okpebholo disclosed when he granted audience to the leadership and executive of Edo chapter of Welders Association, who were on a courtesy visit to Government House, Benin City. The report is presented by Osemu Jamil Sage.
Governor Okpebholo expressed his readiness to partner with Welders Association, pointing out that the government is already working on power supply affecting businesses. He revealed that 100 megawatt power grid is under construction in Olugbo, Ikobaoka local government area. The governor assured the group that his administration would complete the rehabilitation work on the Benin Sapele Road and that the work was 90% completed. The governor hinted that plans are underway to release about 200 buses for people to pay back instrumentally. He appealed to the association to support the current government, saying that the government belongs to the people, as he warned them not to allow themselves to be used negatively during the election.
When you talk about power, we already working on it to see that the issue of power is in the past. 100 megawatts is already on the pipeline. They are building it between now and November. That will power on and we'll be using it in the I believe that you people sitting here, you can use that to create whatever you want to create. To define whatever you want to provide, and that is your strength. I'm ready to partner with you people.
Edo State Chapter of Welders Association, Peter Osage, thanked the governor for creating an enabling environment for business to thrive. He highlighted their major challenges to be epileptic power supply, appealing for a welder village that could accommodate his members. Mr. Osage commended the governor in his fight against insecurity in the state. Osage, ITV News.
And that report sums it on ITV News for this time. Thanks so much for watching. I am Harry Igboje. Coming up next is TMI Socials. Please stay tuned.
ITV
certainly the best.
In a rare display of botanical brilliance, the palm tree defied natural norms, sprouting multiple branches that bear fruits. This rare occurrence has become a wonder to many, as experts are calling it a one-in-a-million phenomenon. Could this multiple-headed marvel hold secrets to agricultural breakthroughs, or is it simply a freak accident of nature? An agronomist with Nigeria Institute for Oil Palm Research, NIFOR Benin. The strange palm tree also raises issues of a blend of science with human interest and cultural significance for maximum impact.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many of
Good morning to my socials. It's my favorite day of the week, and I'm sure it's yours as well. Welcome on board. I am Anuluwapo Stevens. So better still call me a social media butterfly. Now, our video of the day is the dancing governor, Governor Ademo Adeleke, showcasing his dance skills in church on the pulpit, perhaps ahead of the state governorship election coming up on August 15th.
Hallelujah. Divine, are you ready for me? He said, be my he said, he said, and said, that is your Father.
Well, the mood for the weekend is set already. I was just saying, I don't think I can even give all the steps that he did there. But away from that, we start off with a story, kind of like an exclusive. And those persons are wondering why it's not trending online. It's a story that has to do with a 26-year-old physiotherapist and Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. Now, her name, Mary Habila, the late 26-year-old physiotherapist whose body was found naked at the Minister of Works house, Dave Umahi, is said to be buried despite public outcry for autopsy. Now, Mary Habila, who was popularly known as Mara, is said to be Umahi's personal physiotherapist. She reportedly died on June 27, 2026 at Umahi's residence at Uburu in Ebonyi State under questionable circumstances. Now, reacting to the news of her impending burial, many Nigerians called on the Nigerian government to investigate the incident following similar allegations made against the minister in the past. Now, the minister has come out to react to this by saying he's also calling out an investigation into this issue. Let's see what really went down. How come she died at his residence right there at Ebonyi State? And we're also hearing that the family wants to hurriedly bury her. But a lot of Nigerians, especially online, are requesting for autopsy. Let's know the cause of the death. There's an ongoing development on social. Let's quickly take reactions to this sad story. Now, this user wrote, the minister should be recalled immediately. Is the president not aware of this injustice? Whose responsibility is it to inform the president, who is busy running the country? Another user wrote on X, does she not have a family? They should speak up. While still on the story, this user wrote, a dead body was found in a 7-minister's house, and the news has been on social media for days now. Up till this moment, no investigation, no public statement by the police, no resignation. The owner of the property is still a minister to this day. Is this how we want to live in this country? No regard for human life. No country can grow under lawlessness and anyhowness. Remember, I said it's an ongoing development. A lot of persons, especially in the north, are calling out on an investigation, and I've even went ahead to say that if nothing is being done, they're going to stage a protest, and we see to it that the right thing is being done regarding the story. But may her soul rest in peace. Amen. Now, you would actually think that that's all we have on TMI Socials this morning, or that's all the bizarre stuff you get to see online. Now, we move to Delta State precisely, where hashtag 21-year-old girl Favor name is currently trending because Odogo Asaba raped her, and after the incident, she committed suicide. That's how the story actually went. So the girl reached out to a popular social media personality named Ifeanyi Ogbonna, widely known as Odogo of Asaba. Now, the Delta Police Command has triggered and also widespread public concern, are calling for justice over the sexual violence and protection of young women in Nigeria. Now, he's age 40. He has already been arrested. Thankfully, he raped this 20-year-old woman who reached out to him. So she's actually a content creator online. Now she reached out to Odogo of Asaba online saying, come and help me, come and teach me on how to monetize my pages. I want to make money off social media. Now this man invites her to Asaba, to an hotel, and she goes there. She pleads with him that she hasn't even done anything before. He says, no worry, no problem. She gets raped. She reached out to her mother. Fact. Let's listen to the video and get the full details for yourself. Take a look.
This is a very terrible mistake. I ready to keep it. Don't worry.
You know these are sister now. Sister.
That's the man there, but let's listen to Favor, who narrated her deal before she took her life.
Everyone here, my name is Favor from Warri. This will be the last video of me, the whole world. Last video of me, the whole world will be seeing. By the time you will be seeing this video, I'm already dead. And because of my death, is Odogo Asaba.
Well, the situation and netizens are reacting at point. Let's have tweets to story. May her soul rest in peace. Amen. For this user who wrote on X, this one said on Instagram, suicide shouldn't be an option. It doesn't worth taking your own life. Parents should try to be present for their children. Most times, lack of love from home causes this. I hope she gets justice. Another user finally says, this is heartbreaking. Not everyone is strong enough to deal with emotional trauma of being raped. May your soul rest in peace, amen. It's an ongoing story and we'll keep you up to speed with it. Away from that, let's go to Lagos State. Now, the Lagos State government said a 56-year-old man identified as John Eyidrem for dumping refuse into a drainage channel at Ikorodu as authorities intensify enforcement of environmental sanitation laws. Take a look at the video that went viral.
This is
Well, the commissioner in charge of that sector in Lagos, Tokunbo Wahab, saw it and took it upon himself to arrest the man. 2 tweets on the story. We'll start off with this user who wrote, if we could have our first tweet to this viral story. This one says, "This is very beautiful. He should serve jail for some time, and this is exactly how the country can move forward. I applaud the Nigerian environmental sector and this citizen. The gutters can be as wide and open as they want. It gives no one the permission to dump waste in them." Now this one on X also reacting, wrote, "No reasonable citizen will do this, not especially in Lagos," and she went on and on and on. Away from that, Oyo situation is still trending online as the Senate has reacted to claims from Oyo State Governor demanding UN probe into the situation. Now take a look at what Senator Adams Oshomole had to say at the Senate.
Unstatemently, he was carrying partisan politics too far, and this Senate should condemn his unguided statement. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. When we wake up and call on foreign authorities to investigate, this is one case in which our armed forces have shown that without paying ransom, even if it meant that these children and some of the others had to be in captivity for almost 2 months, that the armed forces were working quietly to...
Well, reacting to this online, netizens had this to say. We start off with this tweet on X. Now let's see what you have been saying. This one wrote, "An international investigation is proposed and suddenly everyone is uncomfortable. If there is nothing to fear, why fear an independent investigation?" Now finally this user wrote on X, "What are they hiding? If they have nothing to hide, you did be happy for the investigation." Now finally we wrap up TMI socials on this note. Here in Edo State, the popular, I feel like it's the most popular flyover we have currently in Nigeria. Tell you what, authorities have blocked access to the newly built Ramat flyover in Benin City after resident content creators youth took it upon themselves to turn the place to a landmark infrastructure, popular meetup, hangout, photo shoot location. In fact, I saw a video where somebody had a date on that flyover. It's really hilarious though. Now you could actually look at the interesting video, but let's take a feel at the video.
See what human being they do for 2026. Now animal behavior be that. Now animals they behave like that. You know, like IT for jungle, we say lion go on the way, we just see lioness they pass.
If that girl start with this one, if you don't get the mind, don't come here. Here na sufferer. Under the bridge will carry you. If you don't get the mind, don't come over. Don't come over.
For 2026, so see what human being they do for 2026.
Well, I honestly wish we could have the video where the flyover has actually been played a few moments later. It's really hilarious. But shout out to you and shout out to all the amazing content creators in Edo State. Let's have 2 tweets to this story. This user wrote on X, "Nigerians need to travel more." Absolutely. And also another user reacting wrote, "These are the real issues. The governor go just day one place, they laugh." Tell me about it. And of course, shout out to ITV. I mean, the viral flyover video with the flyover excursion to the different schools on that place really went viral across Nigeria and also globally. Anyway, thank you so much for being part of the show. I am Anuoluwapo Stevens. From all of us on This Morning on ITV, Lagos, Abuja, and right here in Edo State. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a fantastic weekend ahead.